How we doing today, guys? It's Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi, bringing you news and politics through a common sense lens. As you can probably tell, my voice is a little screwed up right now. I was sick on Monday, and my voice is a little bit torn up from that, but I'm feeling much better now. I just got to wait for my voice to recover, so you'll probably see me sucking on a little throat lozenges and drinking some water during this video. No big deal. Hopefully we'll be back up and running just fine tomorrow. But this is something that I definitely wanted to cover concerning everything that's going on with Roe v. Wade right now and the big ass leak that came out of the Supreme Court on Monday night from Politico, showing that there's a very good possibility the Supreme Court is going to completely and totally overturn Roe v. Wade, which praise God for such a thing, because that's the only way something like this would have pulled off in our current spirit of the age and with all the woke psychopaths that are out there. So we're really happy about that. But Will Chamberlin, who is a very, very smart legal analyst and a lawyer, and has been around politics for a long time. I've seen him several times on Timcast. I think he's a very smart guy. If you're not watching the Timcast show in the evenings, I highly recommend you go and check it out. They are going to bring you news stories that you're not going to see other places, with perspectives that are more honest and straightforward and more just middle of the road, truth be told. So that's why they like having people on like this, and they are the side of us that is the non-cult. They might not be conservatives, but they're definitely not in the cult, and that's why I enjoy their stuff so much. So Will Chamberlain's a really smart guy. I really enjoy his analyst, and he has some very good thoughts on who might be the leaker for the Supreme Court. Now, this is just a theory, but he lays out some really solid evidence that I want to go through with you all, because it makes a lot of sense to me, and I think Will Chamberlain's a smart guy, and he's good at putting the pieces together. So we're going to check out his Twitter feed and go through the whole thing and see his evidence and maybe ask you guys what you think, and then, of course, we'll talk about my thoughts of it at the end. So before we get into all of this, if you do enjoy my content, hit that little like button down below if you are not already subscribed to the channel, and share it with all your friends, because God knows with the algorithms, that's the only way it's going to get out. So here we go. From Will Chamberlin on Twitter, right? So Will Chamberlin right here, lawyer, senior counsel at the AIP, the Article 3 Project, and unsilenced.org. So this is who Will Chamberlin, this is his theory as to who. Remember, I'm prefacing this with a theory. We're not making accusations. This is strictly a hypothetical. This is strictly a hypothesis that might be as to who it is. So here we go. From Will Chamberlin. Meet Elizabeth Deutsch. She is currently a law clerk for Justice Breyer. And in my humble opinion, she's the most likely person to have leaked the draft Supreme Court opinion in Dobbs purporting to overturn Roe v. Wade. So there you can see her picture right there. Law clerk at Supreme Court of the United States. She's got her genders, her pronouns, and her bio, which is automatically a red flag for anybody who's been paying attention. Here we go, of course. But first, a disclaimer. I have no inside information. This thread is speculation based on almost entirely on publicly available information. I could easily be wrong. Cool? Cool. All right, here we go. Her academic background isn't that uncommon for Supreme Court clerks. Yale undergrad, Yale Law, and 2 British master degrees from LSE and Cambridge. Do note the master degrees in gender. So you've got this one right here. There's a philosophy, Masters of Science from the London School of Economics and Political Science. Master of Science, MSc, gender was what one of her master's degrees is in. So that would be like gender studies. That would be where all this woke stuff comes from, all the trans stuff, everything else, all the boys can be girls and girls can be boys garbage. That's what feminist studies have evolved into, if you haven't realized it yet. Here's where things start to get interesting. Every law student has to write a note, a long legal research paper, usually making a novel argument about the law. Elizabeth Deutsch wrote hers about reproductive rights and abortion. All right, there's a red flag. Specifically, she argued that Obamacare's non-discrimination provision should be interpreted to force Catholic hospitals to perform emergency abortions. Aggressive argument, and hey, law students make aggressive arguments. Absolutely, that's part of the job when they're learning their trade. While in law school, she wrote a New York Times op-ed about reproductive rights, sensing a theme here, titled No Contraception, No Equality by Elizabeth Deutsch. Visit via the New York Times right there. Her career on LinkedIn doesn't reveal much until we start digging a little further. Now, this is where we really got to give credit to Will for starting to connect the pieces, because this is something, you talk about having to dig down the rabbit hole through this person. I wish I had this much time. I wish this was a full-time job so I could do stuff like this. This is great. First, thanks to her New York Times wedding announcement, of course, we know that she clerked for Judge Nina Pillard. Pillard was one of the D.C. Circuit judges appointed by Obama and forced through by Harry Reid, blowing up the filibuster. Because remember, they don't need a 60 majority to elect Supreme Court, or they don't need a filibuster-proof majority to elect judges anymore like they used to. Harry Reid blew that up during the Obama years, and now they only need 51 votes to confirm a judge, which is where Mitt Romney and all the rest of those rotten pieces, come in handy. I'm looking at you, John Cornyn. Okay. Pillard was one of the D.C. Circuit judges appointed by Obama and forced through by Harry Reid, blowing up the filibuster. She's stridently pro-choice, perhaps not shocking. I don't like pro-choice. They're pro-abortion. They're pro-baby murder. After her clerkship, she got a Gerber Fellowship at the ACLU for a full year. Oh, God. And to think, I used to support the ACLU in high school. God, how things have changed. What was she working on? You guessed it, abortion and reproductive rights. But none of this proves anything. Yes, Deutsch's career seems pretty focused on abortion, but without some connection to John Gerstein, the journalist who received the leak opinion, there would be no reason to suspect her. Of course, why would you think such a thing? Oh, but wait, because it gets better. Oh, crap, went too far. Hold on, let me go back. Oh my God, go back, don't go anywhere. Come on. Come on, Internet, kick up the storm. All right, but none of this proves anything. Yes, Deutsch's career seems to focused on abortion without some connection to John Gerstein, the journalist who received the leak opinion, there would be no reason to suspect her. Let's go back to that New York Times wedding announcement. The bride and groom met at Yale. She's a lawyer. He's a journalist. Isaac Amadorf just got hired by the Washington Post as a national political reporter. Of course, he's on the Trump beat. Why wouldn't he be? But where has he written in the past? Oh, look, he wrote for Politico, sharing a byline with none other than Josh Gernstein, the guy who wrote the Politico piece with the leaked document from the Supreme Court. Looks like Gernstein and they are still bros, chatting on Twitter, interacting as recently as last year. And that's just publicly out on Twitter. God only knows how much they're still talking in the background. So to conclude, we have a currently serving Supreme Court law clerk whose career has been mostly solely focused on abortion. She wrote her law school note on abortion. She wrote op-eds about reproductive rights. She spent a year working on abortion for the ACLU. She clerked for a stridently pro-choice appellate judge, and it just so happens that her husband is a journalist who shares bylines with Josh Gerstein at Politico, and it looks like they are still buds. I don't know that Elizabeth Deutsch leaked the draft opinion, but I certainly think someone who has spent much of their academic and professional life fighting to expand the right to get an abortion could be desperate enough to do so. And honestly, I think he is completely right. I think this makes the most logical sense. Now, obviously, I haven't had the time nor do I have the resources to sit around and go through all the rest of the law clerks that work for the Supreme Court justice that might have done this. But Will Chamberlin does. So until this YouTube thing becomes my full-time job and I can do this for 10 hours a day, I won't have time to do that. Hopefully someday that does happen, especially if you all keep sharing my videos and watching every day. But and going and checking them out on Rumble, because Rumble's already monetized my stuff over there. So if you watch those videos and share them, that'll actually make me a little money. It's not much, but at least it's something. But anyway, that's not the point of all of this. The point is, Will Chamberlain's logic makes sense. This guy has a really good background. He's honest. In my opinion, he's trustworthy. I've never seen anything to doubt what he says, to what he believes is honest and true. And honestly, this logic just makes too much sense. You know, this is how cops do things. This is how investigators and everybody look into things and put circumstantial evidence together to come up with a narrative to find a suspect and try to work out things and see if it's the truth or not. So I hope somebody pays attention. I hope this marshal of the Supreme Court that's supposed to be looking into this, that was assigned by John Roberts to, I hope he sees this theory and I hope it's something he looks into, because they need to find out who leaked this. We can never trust the security of the Supreme Court or its integrity ever again with any of their law clerks to be able to honestly discuss these situations if they're worried about leaks coming from inside. It's just never going to happen. And we're going to have a Supreme Court that's going to become completely and totally political. And I know a lot of people think it is now already, but it's going to be even worse if this continues on, because they're not going to be able to trust each other and they're not going to be able to have honest discussions that aren't strictly partisan issues. And you just can't have that. That's not what the Supreme Court was meant to be. That's why they're appointed for life. So that way they never have to worry about re-election. They have to worry about getting removed. They're there forever and they can honestly discuss things and look at things. That's how it's supposed to work. Let's hope it starts getting back there. Let's hope this leaker is found. And Maybe Will Chamberlain's right, maybe he's not. I don't know, but it makes a lot of sense to me, and I trust his opinion on things. So guys, that's just my common sense take on the whole situation. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Do you have your suspicions of who the leaker might be? Does Will Chamberlain's logic make sense to you? Let me know below, and if you do, if you have not already, and you do enjoy my content, hit that like button, share it with all your friends, and subscribe if you are not already. This is Jesse with the Common Man Corpus Christi, bringing you news and politics through a common sense lens. Thanks for watching.